This mediation of broadcasters and this station.
Serving all of the Four Corners, KSJE Farmington.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Megan Culp, along here with Scott Micklin.
Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, June 9th.
June 9th.
Week number 13.
Yes, look at you.
Hey, see?
Look at you.
I've slept since last time we tried to explain this to me. But yeah,
Yes.
So I'm trying to pay attention.
We're into week 13.
Yes. So welcome, everyone. It's our local information program about COVID-19 that we are sharing with the community with local information and local guests. And so we are back again. And today we got a great show because we're going to get an update from Catherine Abeta. San Juan United Way. I was waiting for you to finish my sentence. Haven't we been working long enough together that we can do that? Maybe?
Yeah, but I wasn't quite sure. I didn't want to give the impression that you were out to lunch on that.
Right.
Like, I remember it's week 13, but I can't remember where the guests come from.
True. Even though I'm on their board. But you're right. I can't. So there you go. That's
cool.
Right. But I got it.
Yeah, charity update. Okay.
And then we're going to get another check-in with a local business who will leave unnamed at the moment.
Keep you around.
But just to say, it's awesome. Business.
Yes.
We like it. We
both
do
like
it.
The business.
We've been there.
We have.
We patronize this business.
And
exactly.
It's a great atmosphere. That's the best part about it. That's why people go
to be able to reopen.
Place.
It's great to be able to go and enjoy that space. You're right.
Uh-huh.
So that stay tuned for that, everybody. That is coming up as well. So so there you go.
Cool.
So what's new?
What's new? I learned a new thing this morning.
Did you know? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Personal algorithm strikes again. Okay. So I got a message this morning, and it's about all of these people who, I don't know if you remember when we were talking to Sue Hodgman and we mentioned that Shakespeare wrote King Lear during the plague proper.
Right.
We'll call it the worst of the plagues.
Right.
The
plague.
The plague.
Yeah.
Anyway, so on this report, they were saying that all of these Americans now are turning in all of these manuscripts to literary agents.
Right.
And a lot of them are like pandemic themed, which is hilarious. I was like, we already had Camus. Like, he took care of that. We're good. He wrote a novel about times during the plague. And actually, I read it when this COVID stuff first started happening. I reread the Camus book.
Right.
A little dry, but also very interesting because the sort of pervasive theme throughout it is everybody's like, how could this happen to us? And that of course was the collective sentiment in the beginning. But anyway, so this literary agent was like, yeah, they're not very good.
Oh.
So I'm like, reasons that Americans need to get back to work. I mean, chief being save the economy, but also like, oh my gosh. They're turning, have pity on the literary agents,
Right, who are reading through all this stuff.
Yeah, somebody's protagonist, the last name was COVID.
Oh.
I know.
Come on.
That's sinking pretty low.
Maybe it was pronounced COVID. Let's give them a little something, They're foreign.
Yes.
I don't know.
They're foreign.
Yeah.
Like, what was curfew?
Curfew.
Yeah,
Yes, it's French.
It's French
Yes.
for the top of a candle.
Yeah.
Putting like snuffing out a candle.
Right.
Anyway.
There you go.
So, fun facts.
Well, thanks for sharing.
Yeah, so sorry, Literary Agents of America. You might have to stay the course just a bit longer.
A bit longer. That's true. That's very true. Let's look at some numbers real quick, and then we'll get to our
Cool.
first guest
Cool.
this morning. But those are all loaded up, ready to go. We could take a look. Of course, ksje.com is where we share the local information about COVID-19 and under our news category and a special subsection of COVID-19 coronavirus. So there's the numbers from the State Health Department there. Now up 9,000. We've topped 9,000 positive cases in New Mexico, another 124 yesterday. San Juan County had another 26 cases of that for 1,990. Our deaths so far are 400 now across our state. We had one of those in San Juan County, and that was 120. I think the notable part of that was it was a man in his 30s. And sometimes they'll say if there were underlying health conditions. They did not say with this gentleman that was the case. So we don't know much more about that, but seemingly young, definitely a young person, but seemingly a healthy young person. So we need to be concerned about that. The other stories I do want to share as well, of course, is the Navajo Nation. They were at 6,110, 90 new cases yesterday, 0 new deaths reported from the Navajo Nation Department of Health, and so there are those numbers as well. And of course, you click on those stories, and there's more details about recoveries and things like that. Because I know we don't always like to just talk about the positive cases; we like to talk about the recoveries too.
Right.
So
that's right.
That's important as well. And so I think I scrolled by the recoveries up here, 73.
Yep.
So 3380.
Good.
So there we go. And again, we are hoping that the county will be updating their charts this week because they've been doing the 7-day averages, and that's been very helpful to kind of look at to get rid of the ups and downs and see the more trends overall.
Yes.
So we'll see if that happens on Thursday's show.
Good.
So stay tuned, everybody.
Yes.
That's what we say. Stay tuned. So let's go to the phones, shall we? And see if it's our first guest who is calling in. Good morning. You're on KSJE this morning.
Good morning. It's Catherine Abeta.
Good morning.
The aforementioned Catherine Abeta of the San Juan United Way.
Oh, I didn't hear because I followed your directions and I turned my radio down.
That's good. You should have heard me through the phone, I hope.
Perfect.
Hopefully you can hear us.
I can hear you now.
Excellent.
Well, thank you guys for having me on.
Thank you for calling in, Catherine. We wanted to get an update from you, and I'll let Megan she's got burning questions that she needs to ask you.
Awesome.
Awesome. You ready for those? No, well,
I'm ready.
I know that because I was part of the sort of subcommittee that looked at these applications for this COVID relief fund that you guys speedily put together, responding to community needs. Do we have an update on those allocations, or is it still too soon?
No, actually, so we can give an update. We completed our first round of funding, and what we did is we started with about $55,000, and we've just been accepting applications on a rolling basis. So there's no hard deadline. Our first phase, we just sort of wrapped up after we had about 10 applications to review, and we ended up distributing just over $28,000 to 9 different organizations.
Excellent. So I know that, speaking from experience, we ranked these as sort of like emergent, and so you had like important causes that maybe weren't emergent. You want to explain that a bit?
Yeah, so what we did was we had a number of folks from the community get involved, review the applications, review the need, and then also just what the request was from the agency working out in the community. And then each volunteer from the community rated each application based on its priority. And so everyone having a different perspective, I think kind of combining that all together, we were able to get a more collective opinion. And so the areas that we broke it down in priority were emerging needs, urgent basic needs right now, and then something that would be more along the lines of like more in the recovery phase for the agency. So we wanted to try to get an idea so that we could make sure that we're funding the highest priority needs right now, and that we're keeping a hold on the ones that look like they're emerging needs to keep reconsidering and make sure that we're on top of what's going on in the community as things change. So it in addition to helping us see the priorities, it gives us an idea and feedback from the community about what sorts of things might be seen as more urgent than others.
Right, yeah. That's what I liked about it. I think it was a mix between not only giving charitable contributions to important resources, but also what are these resources that we deem important. And sometimes we don't get real-time feedback, but it was really good in that regard. I think it's always important to do shout-outs to sponsoring. What kind of organizations gave to this fund? Because it was a community-sponsored fund.
It was, and one of the first contributing gifts that we got was from the Marion Family Foundation, and they kicked off our fund with a $25,000 pledge to the community, which is just huge. And anyone who knows that family, knows the organization, knows that they're rooted in community and giving back and helping people. So I'm really proud to be able to keep continuing our partnership with them and be able to just keep helping people in the community help and give back. In addition to the Family Foundation, we received a grant from APS, which is great because it was in addition to their generous contributions they give anyway throughout the year.
Very good.
We also received a donation from John Beckstead with the San Juan County Commission. And he felt that our fund was worth allocating some of his funds to, so we really appreciate that. We also have received a few just individual donations, which are awesome. And then in addition, something I think that's really cool, because we have a leadership organization that's called United Way Worldwide, and we get confused for them a lot. There's a lot of myths that go around every year, usually around Christmas, about giving to United Way and how much the CEO of United Way makes, and they're always talking about United Way Worldwide, and they're an organization that we don't give any of our pledges to. We don't pay them. They have their own thing, but they actually have been sending us distributions of funding to go into our COVID relief funding, and that's money that they've raised outside of our community. We didn't even have to raise it. And so far, they've sent us just under $18,000 to our community to give out to agencies that need it and that are doing this work.
Oh, great. And that's really cool to hear. And, of course, as you mentioned, we always hear about some of those things, and we get lumped with that United Way Worldwide. And it's a meme you and I, Catherine, have to go debunk on Facebook all the time when we see it. But the point is that when folks give to the local United Way, you can say, and I can say because I'm on the board, and Megan can say because she's a campaign chairwoman, that 100% of those donations go to where you want it to go to those agencies that need it. And that's not something that all United Ways can say, because all of our administrative expenses, your administrative expenses, are covered by other donations. So that's worth noting.
It's so uncommon for the administrative and operational costs to be underwritten so that you don't have to take any fees. And we're able to do that here in San Juan County because of the generosity of donors and companies, and because we're able to keep our costs really, really low. So it's kind of this perfect match in this unique situation where we get to keep our costs really low. None of your donation ends up going to United Way Worldwide, but now we're in a situation where United Way Worldwide is paying us. So it's pretty awesome, and they're giving us money back to our community. So
that's very awesome. You're right. Indeed, I agree with you. And I wanted to ask you, Catherine Abeyta, as we start, the reopening phases here in San Juan County, and maybe some folks think that the need is maybe no longer as great as it once was, perhaps a month or so ago. But what are you seeing there at the United Way about the needs in our community? Obviously, you still have this some money to give out as grants, and so what types of things are you going to be looking for to help fund as we do kind of reopen here, and what are the needs still in the community?
That's a great question, because I do worry that people will kind of look at the situation now as maybe fixed or returned to some normalcy because things are starting to reopen. But the fact of the matter is that for people who were struggling earlier on in the pandemic, the chances are that they're struggling worse now. So just because things are starting to reopen doesn't mean that they have money to pay rent. In fact, many people are several months behind now. And this is the time when evictions are going to start popping up. We're going to start hearing about more evictions because people aren't able to pay the back rent, and maybe they were behind before the pandemic started. So there's a lot of things people are going to be struggling with. We also haven't heard yet from an increase in need for utility services, but we anticipate that just because it was shut off for several months, and a lot of those people who couldn't pay their utility bill was because they lost employment, and if they just regained employment, they don't have enough yet to pay back maybe. So we're going to be looking, I think, at a lot more human struggle among our neighbors and, just people in our community. And so I think that that's something we need to be ready for, is to just figure out what sorts of services are going to be available for them. And kind of, it's still a waiting game, just trying to wait to see what happens. Are we going to continue on this path of opening and continue to opening where more people are going to regain employment? Or are we going to have to go back inside? There's still a lot up in the air, but I think that as far as the needs, I think that they're as great as they have been. Things
Right.
aren't returning back just yet. So we'll really be looking for more support in helping to support nonprofits that are providing basic needs and that are also helping to maybe change some of their services to adapt to the needs right now and how this is different than their typical services.
Very good. Well, that's important to note. So I appreciate that. And so that's good news that you still have some money left and folks can still donate, correct? If they're listening and of means, and they can send you a check for this specific fund for this specific purpose.
They sure can. They can also go to our website, which you can find at sanjuanunitedway.org. And there's a donate button, and you have the option of donating right to the COVID fund. And in addition to that, we've got a few other things. The application is open, so nonprofits that are looking to get a little bit of financial support in a service that they're providing, or would like to expand right now that they think would qualify, just visit our website again. The application's real easy. It's online. And the reporting's going to be, pretty painless too. We really want to partner with nonprofits that are doing the hard work on the front lines and that are, making changes so that they can fill the gaps and fill the need. And so we want to help.
That's true. Well, great advice and information, Catherine. Thank you for joining us this morning. And again, I think it's important to just remember that as things do reopen and we see maybe signs of recovery, even in the economy, not everybody comes along at the same pace. And so there's still pockets in our community that do need some extra assistance from time to time. And it's a good thing to keep those folks in mind.
Yes. Thank you so much.
All righty. Thank you very much. That's Catherine Abeta, the Executive Director of the San Juan United Way, joining us on our COVID information program, talking about their special COVID-19 fund that they've been raising money for. So, and again, thanks to those donors who have made that possible.
That's right.
Above and beyond their usual generosity.
Exactly.
We hear about that all the time.
Exactly. So, and the speed with which all of this happens is always very impressive to me. Just a quick response to community needs. So
exactly. Very, very true. Well, let me get our next guest ready here if we're ready to go.
Sure.
We'll see. I don't know.
We'll see. So while you do that, I always give an update on national numbers according to the Johns Hopkins University dashboard. Reliable source.
Yes, indeed.
So we're nearing 2 million cases confirmed in the United States, which, again, we have this average increase between 18,000 and like 22,000, somewhere in that range. Each day we have more positive reports. And of course, there have been an increase of 487 deaths from yesterday, But cities like who peaked in the beginning, like cities like New York City, have had market, decreases in cases and deaths, quite an astonishing decrease in those. And so they're, again, I think in the same way that we looked to them to see how the progression of this illness and how it works, we're also going to look to them to see how these phasing in processes work. Of course, they're a super, super packed city. It's very hard to physically distance in that city.
Right.
So it'll be different for rural folk like us, or more rural folk like that. I know that New Mexicans don't like to call us rural, but let me tell you.
Okay.
Comparatively.
Ms.
Big
Texas
city.
and Connecticut. Yeah.
Texas,
okay.
New Jersey, and Connecticut.
New Jersey and
all
Connecticut.
big.
Yeah. But compared to some places in New Mexico, Farmington is considered urban.
It's a metro area,
yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
So there's that.
Yes.
So it's all relative.
It is all relative.
It really is. All right. Our next guest is ready to go.
Oh, great.
How about that,
Perfect.
right?
Perfect.
We are excited to have her on the show.
Yes.
Again, we mentioned that we love her shop and her store and her family and just what's there not to love about the
I know.
Taylors, right?
They're an impressive family.
So let's bring her on the show. But Tara Taylor is joining us from Artifacts Gallery in downtown Farmington. And good morning. It's great to see you.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us, and we're, as we said, excited that you have reopened, and during this
almost reopened.
Almost reopened.
I'm opening for regular hours starting on Thursday.
On Thursday. Oh, so okay, but that's sooner than you were planning, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So that's exciting. You couldn't wait. So you're opening this week, and so talk to us a little bit about what your life has been like over the last 3 months. So you shut down with everybody else in March, correct?
We did, and that was sort of, we had a bunch of shows that we had planned. We had the high school art show where we feature all of the high school students, and all the teachers got their work on the walls, and it looked fantastic, and we never got to have a reception for them. So we hung on to student artwork. I decided that everybody still needed to see it, so I posted photos of all of the student artwork on our Artifacts Gallery Facebook page, just so that people could see what these students did this year. There was some fantastic pieces. And then after that, we just kind of sat around for a couple of weeks doing what now.
Right. But I know... Pardon me for interrupting, Tara, but I wanted to say, too, that we saw those posts and we shared them on our page because we thought it was such a great idea to share that student artwork. You had them kind of divided by the schools that they were from, right? And so we were able to then reshare to our viewers on our page to kind of highlight the artwork, which you're right. It was such a variety and really talented stuff.
Yeah, we had well over 500 pieces in here, so it was pretty amazing. After we sat around for a little while, we decided we should fix and repair and do all these projects that we had planned to do, but never really had time because it's hard to do something in 2 days. So we cleared out the entire bakery section and repainted like 4,000 square feet of floor, cleaned everything up, took some boards off the walls so we had a little bit more wall space on the wood wall. We added sort of a photo backdrop where we're getting more and more weddings here, or speaking events, things like that. So we made sort of a backdrop wall, sort of have a feature wall.
Cool. Okay.
Revarnished our floors.
Nice.
Just did some housekeeping that needed to be done.
Very cool.
So speaking of reopening, obviously we're aware that things look different right now as we reopen. So what kind of things are going to look different? Mask wearing, physical distance, wiping things down with heavy duty stuff? What does it look like?
Yeah, the mask wearing is interesting when you're in a restaurant form because you're eating. So most people that come in to sit down, I kind of opened on Saturday, people won't wear masks when they come in because they're going to eat and drink. The people who did wear masks were the ones who came in to take their food with them. As for, the social distancing seating, we have such a huge space that we have 6 feet easily between our seating. We did get rid of our little book exchange, our little take a book, keep a book. I did have to put away our little kids corner, the train table and stuff like that, just because
Sure.
of the cleaning. And so as for the look of the place, other than it looking a little more spiffed up, it hasn't really changed because we've always had quite a large space for seating. We also put some seats up in the front gallery near the windows so you can watch construction. Construction on our side is almost done, though. They're laying bricks today in the sidewalks.
Very exciting. That's exciting, right? That's been a long time coming.
Yeah, the last month or so, watching everything unfold out there is pretty incredible.
Very cool. And so I don't want to mess up our technology this morning, but is it possible, Tara, for you to give us a bit of a tour to show us
the gallery space?
some of the things that you've been talking about? Yeah, if you feel comfortable doing that. Since we're not down there, but we're moving around, and so.
Oh, nice. It's working.
There we go. All right. Look at that newly painted floor, everybody.
That is nice.
Yeah. Redone our floors, so it just looks clean. This is our new little sort of focus wall.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, cool.
Took a bunch of old refurbished wood and stuff like that.
Right. So that's homemade, obviously, right? You didn't buy that anywhere.
Right. Took some boards off of these walls so we had more room for photos and display on this wall as well.
Cool.
Got it.
But, as you can see, we have we have a big space. So you're definitely spread out in that term.
Yes.
And then we've set up a couple of tables up in the front gallery just so people can be a little bit more separated or
right.
Watch
Oh, look at that right there. You weren't kidding. Those are the front windows. And there's the workers out the window. There they are.
Oh, there they are.
So everybody,
spreading.
yeah. So there's proof that they're working today.
I mean, we trust that they work when they say they're going to work.
I'm going to put up the logo, the time and temp on there so everyone knows. As of 9:27 a.m., there were people in the street.
Nice weather for working, 52 degrees and sunny.
That's right.
Right.
Look how shiny those floors are.
I know, it's true. It really.
Maybe I should shut my house down for 3 months and get my
get
house
the
as
tailors
clean
to come
as this is.
Yeah,
right?
I'm sure that you, Scott, would shut your house down and do all sorts of house projects.
Sure I would. No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I almost decided I needed to tire myself out just, to give myself something to do because I was getting a little bored.
There you go.
With commission orders, I did so many custom cookies and things like that while we were closed, which was really nice to still, have some sort of a revenue.
Right.
And then we decided to start selling cinnamon rolls on Saturdays. People would send me their orders, and then they would come up. I would open for a few hours on Saturday mornings. So that worked out really well, too.
Very good. So, Tara, talk to us a little bit about how now that you are planning to reopen on Thursday, you said, right, day after tomorrow. This is week 13.
I was going to say, good job, Scott.
I know, I'm keeping track. How can the community support your business and other local businesses too that are in the same phase of reopening like Artifacts and 302 is? What would your advice be?
Yeah, we do have restrictions on how many people we can have, but I think just visiting, even pick a couple local businesses each week and just go and visit and see what they have to offer. I'm not saying you have to come every day, but just remember that
you wouldn't turn us away though if we came every day, right?
Those cinnamon rolls are mega good.
You can always take some goodies with you.
Good. But pick a couple local businesses to support is what you're saying?
Yeah. We were doing really well with the construction. I know there's a lot of negative comments and things like that about the construction project that's happening down here, but it was severely needed. Most of the construction that happened was all underground. You'll never see it. We saw it.
Well, you were dealing with it, right? With the utilities and things like that. That was what was impacting some businesses down there, like yours, was the old infrastructure, the water lines and sewer lines that you've had to deal with, and that's what's got replaced, right?
Yeah, they were 50, 60 years old. And it was incredible to see some of these pipes that were here, a lot of the joints and stuff that they used. Once they removed the dirt, the water line split open. The only thing holding those together was the dirt.
Oh.
Wow.
They were in
Now that sounds like my house. Dirt is holding a lot of things together.
Dirt.
At my house.
This is why he doesn't sweep and paint floors, because the dirt is holding all things
That's right.
together.
It really is.
Exactly.
That's true.
Exactly. That's what happened downtown.
Yeah.
Wow.
So with this,
We actually were doing really well during construction. You know, January, we had an increase in revenue. February, I think we were almost at a 30% increase in revenue from the year before. I think because people were focused on, or downtown was the talk, and so people were like, well, what is downtown? Sure, I'll go support it. So we were actually doing really, really well with the construction. It wasn't hurting us at all, but then closing completely.
that'll do it.
That'll do it.
Yeah, right. But here we are now, 3 months later or so, and you were able to reopen a little different, safer,
Yes.
and so that's exciting. And so the plan is to reopen on Thursday, and so
On Thursday.
and the hours are going to be. Repeat those again for us, please.
You know, I think I'm just gonna go just like I was before. So I'll be open Tuesday through Friday from 9 to 5, and Saturdays from 9 to 3.
Okay. There you go. And then with the construction, you mentioned that the phase one, which is right outside your shop, is going to be wrapping up here in the next, I think, few weeks, right? They're hoping sometime this month. So will that...
and they actually started phase 2 a little bit early. So phase 2 started yesterday, I think. So they're a little bit ahead of schedule on phase 2.
Okay.
So just remember those businesses, they're within that construction zone, because it's really hard to get to them, but they really do appreciate it when you stop in and support them a little bit.
Right. So just for, again, for everyone to know, traffic on Main Street is now pretty much shut down between, I think, is that Commercial Avenue outside your shop, Tara, and then all the way down to Auburn, it is closed.
Actually, it's closed at Court.
At Court Street, thank you.
Yeah.
Right around there. So
Clear down to Auburn.
But you still have access to all the downtown businesses by either going on Broadway or Arrington. That is the way to get there, to place it.
And I think most of the businesses do have backdoor access. And so you just park in the back parking lots and
Yeah, there you go.
shop and eat and support those local guys.
Exactly. And so I wanted to ask you, with the changes then out in front, because I haven't been down there to see it, you're going to have wider sidewalks. Would you put some maybe chairs and tables out on the new space that you should be getting out in front of the store? Would there be enough to do that?
Yes, there is for businesses.
Okay.
We opted not to because we're a north side or we're a south facing store. We'd never be in the shade.
Yeah.
Umbrellas and stuff, but we did add, or we are adding, we have a little deck that we built out in our back on our north side of our building, and we'll have 2 little outside tables there.
Nice.
Where we are in the construction, our little parking lot that's on the east side of us is one of the exits for the roundabout. So the first roundabout is right here at our parking lot. So we have a crosswalk, and we'll have lighting and stuff in front of our store.
Very different.
So, yeah, it's gonna look so incredible. I'm really, really excited about it.
No.
Very
That's
good.
That's good.
Well, wonderful. Well, Tara, I appreciate you joining us today. We're excited that you are one of many businesses that are reopening in downtown Farmington, and it's wonderful to see and see some of the improvements. And we'll look forward to seeing them in person, not just on video next time.
Yes.
Scott's going to bring cinnamon rolls on Monday.
From 302.
From Saturday, right? From 302.
Yeah,
Anyway.
there you go.
See, no excuses anymore.
No.
Somebody else is making them.
That's right. So they'll
Yep,
be good.
come
So they'll actually be good, Scott.
They'll be edible. There you go. That's right. Perfect. Well, Tara, thanks so much. Say hi to everyone, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. That is Tara Taylor from Artifacts Gallery and 302
That's
Bake
right.
Shop downtown.
That's right. We've now had 2 tailors on this show.
That's right.
Both very talented in different realms.
That's right.
So
It's the whole family.
I know.
It's something in the water they drank, or I don't know, something.
Yeah, we got to get whatever that water is.
Whatever it is.
Where is that? Can I get
know.
it at 302?
Maybe you can. I don't. Maybe
You know what I liked
can.
about the backdrop? Did you see that old like ship's wheel?
Yeah.
That was cool.
I need to have an event down there
But
just
it's
so I
like
can
a
stand
quasi.
in front of it.
Yeah, you're like, are we going nautical or barn, or we're doing all of it?
Yeah, maybe.
Artifacts, hence the name, I think.
Sure. Okay, I like it.
Anyway,
Thanks for sharing.
yeah, commentary on the interior design.
Right.
I have a secret like penchant for interior design.
Do you know?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So
Things
well,
you didn't know.
Well, there you go. Well, I can't wait to see the inside of your house someday, maybe.
It's not like Meow Wolf. We're not going to
No?
do that.
It
no,
isn't? Oh.
it's not worth, the public eye.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Okay. You don't have a feature wall?
No.
In the
Maybe
co-op
I
house?
should
Yeah.
do a feature wall.
I think you should. Consider it. Okay.
Cool.
Or I'll paint your floor.
Will you? I'll have to ask the landlord. What color would it be?
Well, I
a
don't
nice
know.
magenta?
Maybe. Yeah.
Cool.
But there you go. All right. Anyway. Well, we are just about, I think, out of time for today's show.
Unless you want to call in at 566-3909.
Okay. That's true.
Yeah.
We always forget to ask people to do that.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
it would be nice, though.
We would like to hear
It would be fun.
local folks calling in and their local stories about maybe they have a favorite business that is about to reopen.
Right.
And they can give a plug. We're okay with that.
Right.
I mean, we're public radio, but we're okay with plugging a business.
Sure,
You know.
supporting the community. We're community-supported radio, so
That's right.
We give the favor in return.
Exactly.
You support us, we support you.
Right. That's how it works.
That's how it works.
So, again.
It was good to hear that the Main Street project didn't negatively impact them.
Right. That was good.
Yeah.
And I think some did, some didn't. I think we need to be aware of that.
Sure.
But nice to hear
Mixed
them
results,
that they did
yeah.
okay. So.
But imagine phasing in, coming off of this time, mixed with...
There's a hand motion there that
Well,
a gesture that
yeah.
people on the
'cause
radio
they-
wouldn't see.
Right, because it's like peak, phase in.
Okay.
And then they say, economists, I was listening to an economist this morning, says that we might have like a Nike swoosh type revival of the economy. Of course, they officially have declared it a recession.
A recession, that's right.
And so, but if you think of the swoosh, it's, it steadily increases as opposed to like, bam, we're back. But, to have Main Street completed and be able to phase back in, like that's kind of a nice, coming up for air.
Right.
I would think.
Well, and to be clear, though, Main Street Phase 1 will be completed in this month. Phase
Yes.
2 is going to just get started this month.
Right,
So we're
which
not gonna
again
be
sounds just like the pandemic.
completely done
Yeah.
until November.
Right.
But again, I think when folks can see the first part of it, maybe they can kind of see the vision of what is planned for the entire downtown corridor,
Exactly.
and to be able to see maybe how it's going to work and why they've done all that. And I appreciate Tara saying that a lot of the work they've done is you can't see it because it's been underground. So replacing all those utilities and the water lines and the sewer lines and things like that. The only time you can really do that is when you dig up the street, and if you're going to dig it up, you might as well dig it up and replace all
Pretty
that
crazy
stuff.
to think about how the dirt was keeping all of that
Old
together.
pipes together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know
Makes sense.
it does.
Yeah.
That's the reason.
We had a flood in my other job and similar dynamic.
right.
Similar age pipes.
And
then,
you
of
dig
course,
up-
you
had
get
to
down
dig up
there
the
and you're
floor,
like,
right?
whoa.
Wasn't
Yes.
that the building? It
There was a
inside.
trench. Yeah.
Good times. So there you are.
Whatever.
Well, anyway, okay.
Cool.
Well, everybody, if you missed calling in today, make a note to call in tomorrow.
That's right.
How's that? Because we're going to be back tomorrow. We'll be back on Thursday as well this week. And so we hope you will join us. We're continuing to share local information about our community's response to COVID-19 and ways to stay safe. So
See you next time.
we will see you tomorrow, everybody. Stay well. This is KSJE.